Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Okay, so this is the 2 a.m. IA calendar. It is October 20th, 2025. The court notes that the orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of the month remain in effect for today's calendar. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call you in individually, so please just listen out for your names. I'm going to start with Travis Kerber, please. All right, can I have your name and date of birth?
Travis Kerber, April 17th, 1998.
All right. Mr. Kerber, I have you here on one matter. It involves an allegation of a new crime, and that allegation specifically is assault, a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause in that matter. You are eligible for release. The court is imposing the following release terms. There is a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. Okay. If you are able to post this bond and you're released from custody, it's very important that you follow the remainder of the court's orders. Specifically, you are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. Okay. If this is a shared residence, if this is where you live, the court is authorizing a one-time civil standby for you to retrieve your personal belongings. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There are a series of other release conditions, including no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol. Your next hearing is going to be at the Country Meadows Justice Court, and it is October 23rd at 8:30 a.m. Now, typically, I wouldn't assign a court-appointed attorney to you because they're actually, I'm sorry. I have assigned you an attorney, okay? So that attorney will be assigned to represent you in this matter. I'm just reviewing everything to make sure I didn't forget anything. Your paperwork's going to have all of those release terms on. Again, you know, these release conditions are very serious, okay? So reread them. If you do bond out, it's going to be really important for you to follow them and be your next court date on October 23rd, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Victoria Hodges. Can I have your name and your date of birth?
Victoria Hodges, January 10th, 1995.
Okay. Ms. Hodges, I have you here on a new matter involving 4 allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of burglary, Class 3 felony, and 1 count of criminal trespass, a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court found probable cause as to the burglary charge, but not as to the remaining 3. That doesn't mean that they won't be charged against you in the future, okay? But for purposes of your release conditions, this court has found probable cause, again, only with respect to the burglary count. It is a Class 3 felony. The court has appointed you an attorney. You are eligible for release, and following release terms apply. So you do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $7,500. Okay? If you post that bond, you will be released to pretrial services under electronic monitoring. And there are very important additional release conditions that include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime and not having any contact with the alleged victims. Also, no weapons, no drugs without a prescription, no alcohol. The court is setting 2 future court dates for you. One is a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. The second is a preliminary hearing on October 29th, also at 8:30 a.m. Okay, those court dates are going to be written down for you, as well as all of those release conditions that I just mentioned. Okay, so you can, just as soon as that's taken care of, the deputy is going to have that paperwork for you. Okay.
Can I say one thing? I just have a question.
Yes.
My husband told me to come to the house.
Let me just caution you, you have a right to remain silent, and anything that you say here would likely be used against you. So I'd caution you to remember that and to exercise that right.
Okay.
But if you have any questions for the court just regarding your release conditions, that's fine.
Okay. Oh, can I be released tomorrow?
So you have a secured appearance fund that's in the amount of $7,500, okay? My understanding is you can work with a bonds company, bond salesman, and they have a list of those companies in the back. It's also my understanding that typically those companies, you have to put down 20%, okay? And then you can work with these companies to get them to post the remainder of it, or you could just post it all yourself, okay? And then if you do that, you would be released to pretrial services, all right?
Okay.
And that's when you would be on that electronic monitoring program.
Okay. And then my first court appearance is when?
Your first court appearance is a status conference on October 27th at 8:30. Okay.
Okay. So go ahead. So if I don't post bail, I would have to be here until then, until the 27th.
Yes. At that time, you would meet with your attorney. You'll have an opportunity to appear before your trial court judge. You may be able to do something about the bond at that time, but for now, that is what the release conditions are for today.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I have Jonathan Schaus, please? Okay. All right. Sylvia Zayas?
Put your arms out your sleeve. Approach the podium.
Okay, please state your name and your date of birth.
Sylvia Baez, May 6, 1985.
Thank you. I have you here on two matters. The first involves new allegations, okay? Those allegations are as follows. One allegation of burglary of Class 4 felony and one allegation of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony. The court has found probable cause as to the burglary, Class 4 felony, and did not find probable cause as to the possession of drug paraphernalia. You are eligible for release in this matter. The conditions of your release are as follows. The court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. If you post that bond and are released, you are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime or have any contact with the alleged victim. You're also not to possess any weapons, any drugs without a prescription, and not drive without a valid driver's license. The court is appointing an attorney in your matter, and you do have two future court dates. The first is a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. The second is a preliminary hearing on October 29th, also at 8:30 a.m. Both of those are downtown, okay? In your second matter, I am seeing you here on a probation violation matter, okay? So this is the case that you are on probation for. The underlying conviction was for possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony, and you are alleged to have violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. Okay. Your regular probation court judge did request a bond in the amount of $250. This court is affirming that amount, okay? So in total, you would have that $250 bond for the probation violation, in addition to the $2,500 bond in the new matter. In your probation violation case, your next court hearings are a probation revocation arraignment and possible disposition on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. downtown, okay? Mm-hmm. So all of your court dates and your release terms for both cases are on your paperwork, and you can just grab that on your way up, all right?
Yeah, Miss, I don't have any money to postpone, Miss.
I understand that. It doesn't change the court's decision for your release, but I do understand that.
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Could I have a Remlal, please? Please state your name and date of birth.
Ralph Ramlal, 7/27/93.
Thank you. Sir, I'm seeing you today on one matter. It is a probation violation matter. In this regards, your probation for the case involving the conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, which is a Class 6 felony. You are alleged to have violated terms 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. The court is appointing you an attorney for this matter and is setting your release conditions at a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you're able to post this bond and are released, please note you are not to possess any weapons, any drugs without a valid prescription, consume any alcohol, or drive without a license. And you also must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. All of that is written down on your release paperwork, which you can take as you exit. Okay, thank you, sir. Kamal Abdul Hakim, please. Hello, may I have your name and date of birth, please?
Kamal Hakim,
Okay. Date of birth?
10/11/73.
Great, thank you. All right, Mr. Hakim, I am seeing you in one matter today. And this matter involves a municipal court warrant out of Goodyear, all right? And that is for a case involving one count of criminal trespass, a class 2 misdemeanor. The Goodyear city judge did request a bond in the amount of $379. This court is affirming that request, okay? So your release conditions are as follows: a secured appearance bond in the amount of $379. If you post that bond and are released, you're just not to return to the scene of the crime, have any contact with any alleged victims, and then your next court hearing is on October 29th at 8:30 a.m. That is at the Goodyear Municipal Court, okay?
All right.
One final thing is typically we don't appoint attorneys for this type of offense. However, I did appoint an attorney to represent you solely for the purposes of the bond, okay? All of your release conditions are on your paperwork, and you can step to your left and grab that paperwork on your way out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Raul Torres, please. Mr. Torres?
Sorry.
All right, just give me 1 minute. Okay. What is your name and date of birth?
Raul Torres, 11/03/89.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Torres, I have you here on 2 separate matters. The first matter involves allegations of new offenses. Those offenses are 1 count of burglary, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, a class 5 felony. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations and has appointed you an attorney. You are available as a matter of right in your case, and the court is releasing you with no required bond to pretrial supervision or pretrial services. So when you receive your paperwork, they'll give you an envelope of additional paperwork on all of the things that you need to do to comply with pretrial services. Additionally, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime nor have any contact with the alleged victim. Your next hearings are a status conference on November 4th at 8:30 a.m. downtown, and a preliminary hearing on November 6th, also at 8:30 a.m. downtown. The second matter that I have you here on is a Justice Court warrant out of Encanto Justice Court. And that is for a case involving 1 charge of possession of an open container of liquor in a vehicle. You're eligible for release in this as well. The justice at Encanto Justice Court did request a $100 secured appearance bond. This court is affirming that, okay? So in that second matter, you have a $100 secured appearance bond. Your next hearing in the second matter is an arraignment hearing on October 23rd at 8:30 a.m. That's at the Encanto Justice Court, okay? So please keep in mind that you have 2 separate matters. One is through the Superior Court. That was the first one that I was talking about. The second is through the Encanto Justice Court. All right, 2 different court locations and 2 sets of court dates. Okay, make sure that you understand all of your release conditions and that you know when your court dates are for both of those matters. All right. Thank you so much, sir. You can get your paperwork. May I have Chris Wilson? Okay. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay, could I have your name and date of birth?
My name is Chris Wilson. My date of birth is, yes. Thank you. You're welcome. My date of birth is 11/29/2000.
Okay. All right, so I have you here on one matter, okay? It is a matter involving allegations of new offenses. Those allegations are 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations and has appointed you an attorney. You're eligible for release. This court is not imposing any bail, okay? So this court is releasing you on your own recognizance. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. Don't possess any weapons. No drugs without a valid prescription, okay? You have 2 hearings coming up. You have a status conference on November 4th at 8:30 a.m. downtown, and a preliminary hearing on November 6th, also at 8:30 a.m. downtown. Okay? All right. You can get your paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is this our last non-in-house?
Yes.
Okay, great. Megan Rotham. And you know, could I do this one with everyone else cleared, if that's possible?
You want everybody out?
We're just going to give them 1 minute. Okay. Please give me your name and date of birth.
Megan Rosam, June 28th, 1991.
Ms. Rotham, I have you here on one matter. It involves new allegations of crimes. They include an allegation of criminal damage, 3 allegations of child abuse, all Class 3 felonies, and 1 allegation of discharging a firearm in a residence, which is a Class 2 felony. The court has found probable cause as to all of those allegations and has appointed an attorney for you in this matter. You're eligible for release as a matter of right, and the court is imposing the following release terms. The court is imposing a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50,000. If you are able to post that bond and are released from custody, you will be released to pretrial services with an electronic monitoring unit. This is very important, whether you are released and remain in custody, or whether you are not released and remain in custody, or whether you post bond and are released. You are not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims. I know that the victims of the child abuse I believe, are your children. Very important that you can't have contact with them unless or until there's a further order from the court permitting it. If you are If you are able to post bond and you are released on the electronic monitoring unit, you are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You are not to initiate contact with any of the victims in any manner. The court will authorize a one-time civil standby for you to retrieve your personal belongings from the residence. But again, you can't live there. You can't be there until further order of the court. If you are released after posting bond, you are not to possess any weapons. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to consume any alcohol. Do you understand all of those release conditions?
$50,000, and I would have to post at least 20%.
Yes.
What is that?
That would be $10,000.
Okay.
Okay. You have two future hearings set. One is a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. The second is a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30 a.m. Both are downtown.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All information is here. Has bond for everything. Okay.
Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we have 4 house calls. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1, 2. Okay. So Deputy, we have number 5 on the calendar, Jonathan Schaus. Number 14 on the calendar, Vincent Flores. Number 7 and 8 on the calendar, Rudy Ortega. Number 15, 16, and 17 on the calendar, Alexis Montoya. Was the sheriff's office not able to transport them either because they presented either a threat or great disruption to themselves or others, or a great disruption?
That's right.
Okay, so we will go ahead and do those in the back of the house. For the record, with respect to number 5, Jonathan Schaus, he is here on allegations of new charges, including 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of resisting arrest, 1 count of criminal trespass. The court has found probable cause as to all of those allegations, except for 1 of the counts of aggravated assault. The court is appointing him an attorney. His next hearings are a status conference on October 27th and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30 a.m. He will have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000, not to return to the scene of the crime, have any contact with the alleged victims, not possess any weapons or drugs. Number 14, Vincent Flores. He is here on allegations of new charges, 1 count of aggravated assault, a class 4 felony. The court did find probable cause. The court appointed an attorney. His next hearings are a status conference on October 27th and a preliminary hearing on October 29th, both at 8:30 a.m. His release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000, not to return to the scene of the crime or initiate or have contact with the victims. As to numbers 7 and 8, Rudy Ortega. Number 8, he is here on allegations of new charges. 1 count of unlawful means of transportation, a class 5 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, a class 1 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to those allegations and has appointed an attorney. His next hearings are a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30 a.m. I'm so sorry. His next hearings are a status conference on November 4th and a preliminary hearing on November 6th, both at 8:30 a.m. His release conditions include release to pre-trial services, not to return to the scene of the crime, not to have any contact with the alleged victim. In Mr. Ortega's second matter, which is listed as matter 7 on the calendar, he is here on a Goodyear Municipal Court warrant for a case with one charge of disorderly conduct of Class 1 misdemeanor. He has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,804 and an arraignment hearing at Goodyear Municipal Court on October 29th at 8:30 a.m. Numbers 15, 16, and 7, Alexis Montoya. Number 15, she is here on allegations of new offenses, one allegation of aggravated domestic violence, Class 5 felony, and one count of criminal damage, Class 2 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations and has appointed her an attorney. Her next hearings are status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30 a.m. Release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. Not to return to the scene of the crime or have contact with the victims, not to possess any weapons. And number 16 on the calendar, Ms. Montoya is here on a probation violation matter. This is a Term 1 violation due to the new charges that I just previously read. This is for a case with an underlying conviction of aggravated assault. The court is setting an unsecured bond in the amount of $500. Other release conditions include no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, and to contact her probation officer within 72 hours. In number 17, that is another Term 1, new Term 1 violation. It's a new probation violation matter arising out of number 15 on the calendar. In this, she has a probation revocation, arraignment, and disposition hearing on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. An attorney has been appointed for her, and her release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. I will go back and see these individuals. If anything changes, my written orders will reflect my final orders, and with that, I believe I can go off the record? Okay, great. something rather
Oh,
than...
because of the
answer.
paper, but
I don't want to know what's on the paper. What is your first name?
Graciela or Griselda? I don't know, because my name's Graciela on my paper.
Okay, and your last name is Macias.
Yes.
Okay. So I just think that we have that stretch. And what is your date of birth?
5/8/1987.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Okay, why do you seem to have trouble recalling your date of birth?
It's honestly, I just, my birth certificate, I'm a fraternal twin and on there, and I was just confused. I was asking questions about it, about me being, yeah.
Okay. Ms. Macias, you are here on one matter before me. It involves allegations of 2 new charges. The allegations are for 1 count of aggravated assault, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, a class 1 misdemeanor. Give me just 1 second. You know, we may have to, just hold on for a second. We may have to reprint the paperwork. I just had to do a quick edit on it.
I couldn't print her name. Can we print again?
I'm sorry, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to make it, there was a typo. So let me go back. There are allegations of 2 new counts, okay? The first one's aggravated assault. That's actually a class 3 felony, not a class 4 felony. And don't say anything until I'm finished, please.
Okay.
And then 1 count of criminal damage as a class 1 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations and has appointed you an attorney. Your release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $10,000. If you are able to post that bond and you are released from custody, you will be released to pretrial services on an electronic ankle bracelet, okay? If you are released, you are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, not have any contact with the alleged victim, not possess any weapons, drugs, consume any alcohol. And your next court dates are a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th, also at 8:30 a.m. downtown. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just confused with that. If I have, because I'm going through like a DCS case right now too, where my family and kids are, my mom and my kids, they got taken. So I was trying to fight that case because I feel like it was like kind of like a harassment and stuff. And
I understand, and this will probably impact that case.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you've been appointed an attorney in your dependency case. I would notify that attorney immediately of this current situation.
How can I get a hold of them from here?
I don't know.
Because I had like a change of name too, so that's why I didn't know if I was scared to even speak up or say anything.
Right, you seem to be very confused about the change of name, which causes me a little concern about your candor to the court today. So all I can say is that you should contact your dependency attorney about this new matter. You can collect your paperwork and speak with your criminal defense attorney on this matter prior to the status conference on October 27th? Thank you. You can step to the left, and the deputy will give you your paperwork. Yeah, I switched it to just one of the counties. I switched it to a class 3. Instead of class 4. It was just an error that I didn't catch. I'm sorry. Okay, could I have Weston Carver? Weston Carver?
Good morning.
Hello. Please state your name and date of birth.
Weston Shea Carver, 05/24/1996.
Thank you. So, Mr. Carver, I have you here on 2 matters. The first is a matter involving an allegation of a new offense. The allegation is 1 count of robbery, a Class 5 felony. The court has found probable cause for that allegation and has appointed you an attorney. Your release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $7,500. If you are able to post that bond and are released, you will be released to pretrial services. Other release conditions include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, having no contact with the alleged victim, or any complaining witnesses or officers. You have a status conference in this matter on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th, also at 8:30 a.m. downtown. Right. Your second matter is a probation violation case. Your violation was just violated based on term 1 violation of the new charge of the robbery. In that case, you are also appointed an attorney. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you do post that bond, you are to have no possession of weapons, drugs, alcohol, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. You have a probation revocation, arraignment, and possible disposition hearing on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. That's downtown. All of that's in your paperwork, which you can get when you step to the left. Thank you. Dale Paul. Give me 1 moment. Okay, please state your name and date of birth.
Dale William Paul, November 16th, 1987.
Thank you. Mr. Paul, I have you here on 3 matters. The first is a matter alleging 2 new charges. They are possession of dangerous drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations, and the court has appointed you an attorney. Your release conditions include a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,500. If you're able to post that bond and are released, there are a series of other release conditions that will be written in your paperwork, so make sure you go over those. In this matter, you have a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30 a.m., both downtown. In your second matter, I have you here on a probation violation warrant. So this is your probation on the possession of drug paraphernalia Class 6 felony case. You are alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. The judge in your probation case did request a $500 bond, which this court is affirming. You have a probation revocation arraignment hearing and possible disposition on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. And in your third matter, you are here on another probation violation warrant. And it's basically identical in the details. It's another violation on the possession of drug paraphernalia case, same alleged violation terms, which are 3 and 5. The judge in that case requested a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500, which this court is affirming. Okay, so you will be appointed an attorney for all 3 of those cases. The bond for all 3 of those cases is different, but it will be clearly written on your paperwork, as well as your court dates for the 3 cases and the release conditions if you are able to post bond and are released. So please step to your left, make sure you get your paperwork. Can I have Cecily Fadi, please? Okay, please state your name and tell me what your date of birth is.
Cecily Fadi, September 27, 1989.
Okay. Ms. Fadi, you are here on 4 separate matters. Okay, I'm going to go through them with you on the record, but all of the specifics are going to be in your paperwork, all right? So to keep it all straight, please make sure you read that paperwork, make sure you understand it. All right, so the first matter that you are here on is an arrest warrant originating from the North Star Justice Court. And that is on a case involving 1 count of failure to appear and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. The judge in that case from North Star Justice Court requested a bond in the amount of $970. That's a secured appearance bond, and this court is affirming that. You have an arraignment hearing, and that is saying that it is at the Puerto Justice Court, and that is on October 23rd at 8:30 a.m. In your second matter, you are here on another out-of-county warrant that is out of the North Star Justice Court. That was on a case involving 2 counts of disorderly conduct and 1 count of criminal tampering. The judge in that case requested a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500, which this court is affirming. Your next hearing in that case is October 23rd at 8:30 a.m. In your third matter, you are here on a failure to appear bench warrant from Apache County. In that matter, the judge requested a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500, which this court is affirming, and you have an arraignment hearing on October 23rd at 8:30 a.m. And in your fourth and final matter, you are here on a probation violation warrant that is out of Maricopa County Superior Court. The underlying conviction in that case was attempted aggravated assault, for which you were placed on probation, and you are alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5 of that probation. Your probation court judge requested a bond be set in the amount of $250. This court is affirming that that is a secured appearance bond. Your next hearings in that matter are a probation revocation arraignment hearing and possible disposition hearing on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. So again, because you have 4 separate matters and they are out of different counties, I urge you to look specifically at your paperwork, okay, so that you can see the individual bonds for each case, as well as the dates and the locations of your next hearings, okay? You can step to your left and get your paperwork. Louis Clark, please.
Hi,
Could I have your name and your date of birth?
it's Louis Eugene Clark, 51176.
Okay. Mr. Clark, I have you here on one matter. It is a matter involving new allegations for 2 offenses. They are 2 counts of aggravated DUI, both Class 4 felonies.
Oh, shit.
The court did find probable cause as to those allegations and has appointed an attorney to represent you. The court has set a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500 in your case. If you are able to post that bond, very important that you not possess any drugs without a valid prescription, that you not possess or consume any alcohol, that you not drive without a valid driver's license, and even if you have a valid driver's license, you are not to drive a motor vehicle with anyone under 18 years of age. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th also at 8:30 a.m. Okay?
Okay.
All of those terms will be written on your paperwork.
Okay.
Thank you. Nicholas Amaya, please. Okay. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, it's Nicholas Miles, born 1/10/81.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Amaya, I have you here for one matter.
Yes, ma'am.
It is a Superior Court failure to appear bench warrant on a case involving a charge of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony. Have appointed an attorney for you. Your trial court judge in that case did request a bond amount, unsecured bond amount of $500. This court is affirming that. Okay. If you do post that bond and are released, please make sure to read all of your release conditions, okay? Make sure that you follow all of them. You have a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30 a.m., both downtown.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Xavier Figueroa, please. Hello. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Xavier Figueroa, 9/26/2003.
Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you are here on one matter that involves 2 allegations of new charges. The first is carrying a deadly weapon, not disclosing to law enforcement. That's a Class 1 misdemeanor. And the second is possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony. The court has found probable cause as to both of those allegations and has appointed an attorney to represent you. The court is releasing you. The court is not requiring a bond and is releasing you to pretrial services. You'll receive an envelope of information about pretrial services. Make sure that you read it so that you're in compliance with their requirements. As part of your release terms, you're not to possess any weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, and you're not to have any contact with any co-defendants. Okay. I apologize if I already gave you the court dates, but you have a status conference on November 4th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 6th, also at 8:30 a.m. downtown.
Okay.
Those will be written in your paperwork, okay?
Sounds good. I appreciate it, Your Honor.
All right. Joshua Hessick, please. All right. What is your name and date of birth?
Joshua Husick, January 10, 2000.
Okay. Thank you. All right. You're here on one matter. That matter involves allegations of 3 new charges. One is obstruction of a criminal investigation, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of resisting arrest, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of carrying a deadly weapon and failure to disclose that to a law enforcement officer. The court found probable cause as to all of the allegations except for the obstruction of criminal investigation, okay, which means that the court found probable cause on the 2 Class 1 misdemeanor offenses.
Which would be?
Resisting arrest, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and then carrying a deadly weapon and failing to admit that when asked by a law enforcement officer, that's a Class 1 misdemeanor as well. Okay. Because of the nature of those charges, you're not entitled to a court-appointed attorney, but you can certainly hire your own attorney if you wish. And you have a status conference on November 4th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 6th at 8:30 a.m. The court is releasing you on your own recognizance and not requiring a bail. You do have terms of your release. Specifically, you're not to possess any weapons, not to possess any drugs without a prescription, not to have any contact with any co-defendant. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Your paperwork will be ready for you.
I had a question as far as when you mean co-defendant, what do you mean by that? Like the person I came with? Because if that's the case,
that would be Yasmin Lopez.
We live together.
Okay. Well, until you have further, one of you is going to have to find a place to stay until you can get before your regularly scheduled trial judge. You can possibly take up that release condition with your trial judge. All right. But for today's purposes, no contact and that.
So let me ask you this: so how am I supposed to grab my stuff and everything if I'm not supposed to have no contact?
Do you live in the same? Do you share a residence?
We share, yes.
Okay. So what I will do is in the release order, the court will authorize a one-time civil standby for you to retrieve your personal belongings from the shared residence. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to have to reprint that. All right, so I'll correct that. That'll be reflected in your release conditions, all right?
Appreciate it.
Okay. You can step to your left. Thank you. No. Oh, you know what? I'm still typing it. I'm sorry. Okay. Did that work? Okay. All right, can I have Greg Alvarado? All right, can I have your name and date of birth?
Greg Anthony Alvarado, March 5th, 1977.
Thank you. All right, you are here on one matter. That matter involves allegations of 5 new offenses, including 2 counts of DUI, both Class 1 misdemeanors, possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, possession of an open container of liquor or alcohol in a vehicle, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and then driving with a suspended license, also a Class 1 misdemeanor. The court has found probable cause as to all of these allegations and has appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. I'm sorry. You have a status conference on November 4th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on November 6th, also at 8:30 a.m. The court is releasing you on your own recognizance, okay? So you're not, you'll have no bond in place. Very important, you're not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription, not consume any alcohol, not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, and make sure to go to your court hearing. Okay. All right, you can get your paperwork. Thank you. Okay, Yasmin Lopez, please. All right, would you state your name and date of birth?
Yasmin Lopez, March 16, 2000.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Lopez, you are here on one matter. It involves allegations of 2 new charges. One is criminal speed, and the other is carrying a deadly weapon and failure to disclose that to a police officer. Based on the nature of these charges, you're not entitled to a court-appointed attorney, but you can certainly hire one to represent you if you choose. You have an arraignment hearing on November 6th at 1:30 p.m. That's at the Encanto Justice Court. The court is releasing you on your own recognizance, okay? Very important, though, not to initiate any contact with your arresting officers or have any contact with the co-defendant. You're also not to possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Okay? All of that's in your release conditions. Thank you.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay. So, the last person that I have, Deputy, is Ernesto Marin, aside from the house calls. Is that what you have?
I've got Romero and Morris. They're your house calls.
Okay.
Those are the last two besides your FOJ.
Okay, perfect. So I'll call the Mr. Ernesto Marin right now and do the FOJ. All right, give me 1 second, Mr. Marin. Okay.
Do I get a bed after this? Do I get to go to a bed after this?
I'm sorry?
Do I get to go to a bed after this?
I hope so.
Okay, so Mr. Marin, can you give me your name and date of birth, please?
10/30/91 is Ernesto Marin.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to be frank with you. So we have to go through sort of a little bit of a script here with me giving you a lot of information and then you letting me know what you want to do, okay? And so I'm going to be reading a lot from this form. Stop me if you have any questions, okay? All right, so
What's this information about though too? Is it?
So first of all, just give me 1 second.
Oh, freak, I'm cold, man.
Okay. All right. When you were back there, did they give you like a little laminated card to
Oh,
read?
for the extradition, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know everything about it already.
Okay. All right. Great. So by law, I have to go through and ask you these questions on the record, but I'll try to get through it as fast as I can. All right.
Okay.
So a warrant for your arrest was issued by Utah. All right. And Utah wants you back on that warrant. So you just indicate that you read the laminated card, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And did you feel like you were able to understand it all?
Yeah, they're gonna take me back anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. So for today's purposes, you have a choice to make at this time. All right. You can choose to waive your right to an extradition hearing. All right. And be sent back to Utah within 30 days. Or you can demand an extradition hearing and then a governor's warrant be signed by the governors of both Utah and Arizona before you're sent back to Utah. All right, so either you waive that process, okay, in the extradition hearing, or you don't waive that and you say, I want to go through the process and I want to have the governors sign the warrants, okay? So if you choose to waive your right to an extradition hearing, you would be held non-bondable in the Maricopa County Jail for a period of up to 30 days to allow time for the requesting state to come get you. All right? And just so you know, I am setting a bond in this. That's a secured appearance bond in your matter.
So
Just give me 1 second, okay? So, the secured appearance bond that I would set for you, if you decided not to waive, okay? If you were to decide that you wanted the extradition hearing, then you would have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $20,000. All right?
Is that cash or?
No, it's a secured appearance bond, so it's 20%. You can work with.
How much would that be? Do you know?
Well.
20% of 20,000 is like $2,000.
Right. Yeah.
Damn.
But it would be $4,000 because, yeah, 20% is.
So I'd have to pay $4,000 to bail. Cash, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, don't ask me the specifics about bail.
No, you're
you want to
okay.
talk to...
I can't afford that.
Okay, so...
I'll just get extradited back.
All right. So let me start back then, so you understand your options. So if you choose to waive your right to an extradition hearing, you would be held non-bondable, okay? So if you want to exercise your right, you have a $20,000 secured appearance bond. If you choose to waive your right, then you would be held non-bondable in the Maricopa County Jail for a period of up to 30 days to allow time for Utah to come get you. That 30 days would start tomorrow, as long as you don't have any other criminal charges pending against you anywhere in Arizona. All right? So if for some reason you do have criminal charges pending anywhere against you in Arizona, which I don't see here, the 30-day period for Utah to come get you would not start until those charges are resolved.
Yeah, I don't have no charges or nothing. This is the only thing I've been here for. I've been out here almost 3 years. I work for the union, and there was just something dumb.
Okay. So, if you choose to have an extradition hearing, I will set your hearing, okay, and we can get a date and time. Oh, actually, we have that hearing. So, if you choose to have that hearing, we would set that hearing on November 3rd at 1:30 p.m., okay? Now, so that is if you don't waive your rights and you want an extradition hearing, in Arizona, these fugitive of justice matters are considered to be civil matters, so I could not appoint an attorney to represent you at no charges, but you could certainly hire an attorney if you chose. So, do you understand that your bond is set in the amount of $20,000?
Yeah, I just can't pay no $4,000 in bail. If I had that money, I'd stay and fight it, but I don't have no money.
Okay. So, do you feel like you are able to make a decision right now as to whether or not you want to have an extradition hearing or if you want to waive your right to an extradition hearing?
The only person I have out here is my wife, and she don't have that kind of money. If I were to stay, what good would that do me? I wouldn't be able to bail. Would I be able to fight it here, or Utah's going to come get me either way, right?
Well, so you would have the initial hearing on November 3rd, okay? And, in that time, you would have the $20,000 secured appearance bond, okay? If you were able to post that bond, you could be released pending your fugitive from justice hearing, okay? The caveat to that is you have to stay in Arizona
Until November 2nd.
until ongoing until you resolve this with Arizona. So you can't just post bond and go back to Utah and take care of it. You'd have to post the bond, go to the hearing, and then stay in Arizona until you are allowed to do otherwise. So that's option one, or you could waive your right to have an extradition hearing.
I don't want to make a decision until I talk to her.
Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a ruling here that at this time you simply are unable to make a decision about waiving your rights or not, which I think is completely understandable.
Yeah, because I don't know, and I got my family out here and I can't just bounce out.
So you have that secured appearance bond in the amount of $20,000, all right? And again, you have your hearing on November 3rd at 1:30, and it's called a fugitive from justice initial hearing, okay?
Cool.
All right, so I am going to...
And then what about the silly charges I got for out here? Isn't it for like criminal damage or something?
So I don't see so those were not submitted for me to review today. Okay, so I don't know what happened with those. They may be submitted at a later date. There's no way of telling at this point.
Damn, because that's what they brought me in on. Because I broke my curtain. Thank you.
Okay, so I just need to print your paperwork, and I'm just having an error.
Fuck, man.
Yes. Oh, no. He's not waiving. Yeah, he would not.
So when will I have the hearing again for the extradition, on November 3rd?
Let me just double check, okay? So...
And I'd have to say your type post bail till November 3rd, okay.
Yeah, my assistant's just gonna enter in a few things. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't change your hearing date. And then we're gonna print it out for you. And then really important, like I said, is you'll notice that there's a box that could be checked under release conditions saying you may travel outside of Arizona. I did not check that, because if you post bail in your release, just remember you have to stay in Arizona, okay, until you go to that hearing and you get clearance from Arizona to go back to Utah, okay? You have to go through the process. So you wouldn't want to leave the state of Arizona, because that could potentially forfeit your bond.
Okay.
Okay? Is there anything else I need to do? Interest election. All right. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. We're going to get that paperwork printed out right now, okay?
Okay. Oh, man. November 2nd, yeah, it's like in what, 10, 12 days?
Thank you. Good luck, sir. Okay, so Deputy, I have numbers 19 and 20, David Romero, and number 8, David Morris, as house calls.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is that because they couldn't be transported without risk of harm to themselves or to others?
I'm sorry?
Is that because they couldn't be transported either because they were a risk of harm to themselves or to the others?
One of them, because one of them wouldn't keep his clothes on,
Okay,
and the other one is on a sick bed right now.
okay, all right, thank you. So we will do those. For the record, all right, David Romero is here on a municipal court warrant out of Youngtown on a case involving 1 count of assault, class 3 misdemeanor. Youngtown requested a $700 secured appearance bond, which this court is affirming. And the next hearing is an arraignment on October 23rd at 9 a.m. In number 20 on the calendar, Mr. Romero is here on another municipal court warrant from Youngtown on a case involving 1 charge of disorderly conduct, a class 1 misdemeanor. The judge in that case requested a $520 secured appearance bond, which this court is affirming, and Mr. Romero has an arraignment hearing in this matter on October 23rd at 9 a.m. And that's at the Youngtown Municipal Court. With respect to David Morris, Mr. Morris is here on 1 matter. It involves a new allegation of indecent exposure, class 6 felony. The court did find probable cause as to that allegation, appointed an attorney. There's a status conference on October 27th at 8:30 a.m. and a preliminary hearing on October 29th, also at 8:30 a.m. This court is setting a secured appearance bond in the amount of $30,000. If Mr. Morris posts that bond and is released, he will be released to pretrial services on electronic monitoring. He is not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, not to initiate contact with the alleged victims or complainants or witnesses. He is not to have any contact whatsoever with any minors. He is also required to submit to DNA testing at the arresting police department. I will go and do these initial appearances in-house. If anything changes, I will put those changes in writing, and the written orders will reflect my final orders. And with that, we will go off the record. Okay. Yes.
All rise. And we have the interpreter. Good morning, you may be seated. Is the interpreter able to hear the court? Okay, you may be seated.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. This is Lázaro Fernandez, court interpreter.
Mr. Hernandez, will you interpret the admonition for me?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that there are two defendants who require the assistance of the interpreter, so I believe that we might have to do that part in consecutive. After that, we'll be able to do it in a simultaneous mode.
Okay, thank you. This is the time set for the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar for October 20th, 2025.
Ese es el momento fijado para la comparecencia inicial de las 8 de la mañana del día 20 de octubre del 2025.
The court's orders for fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 1st of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar.
Las órdenes emitidas por el juez para la toma de huellas dactilares y muestras de ADN el día 1 de este calendario va a ser aplicable a todas las personas en esta audiencia.
Before we get started, there are a few things that I would like to explain to you.
Antes de comenzar, hay algunas cosas que me gustaría explicarles.
First, I will call you each into the courtroom one by one.
Antes que nada, le voy a convocar para que pasen ustedes a la sala de audiencias uno a la vez.
I will ask you for your first and last name and your date of birth.
Les voy a preguntar su nombre, apellido y fecha de nacimiento.
I will then let you know, I will then tell you why you are here and whether or not an attorney has been appointed to represent you.
Entonces le informaré el por qué se encuentra usted aquí el día de hoy y si se ha nombrado o no a un abogado para que le represente.
I will then let you know what your upcoming court dates will be.
Entonces les dejaré saber cuál van a ser sus próximas fechas de comparecencia en el tribunal.
I will then tell you what your bond will be if you are eligible for bond.
Entonces les dejaré saber cuál es la cifra fijada de su fianza si cumple con los requisitos para que se fije tal.
And lastly, I will let you know what your release conditions are.
Y finalmente, les informaré cuáles son sus medidas cautelares.
Some of you may have some questions while I'm providing this advisement.
Algunos de ustedes quizás tengan ciertas preguntas en lo que yo les presento ese aviso.
Please do not interrupt me while I'm providing the advisement.
Por favor, no me interrumpa mientras yo les proporciono ese aviso.
You will be permitted to ask questions after I complete the advisement.
Usted tendrá permitido el hacer preguntas una vez que termine yo de informarles.
You are also cautioned to keep your questions related to your release conditions only.
Se le advierte también que mantenga sus preguntas relacionadas solo sobre sus medidas cautelares.
This is a recorded proceeding.
Esta es una gestión que está siendo grabada.
Anything you say here could be used against you.
Cualquier cosa que diga usted acá puede ser utilizada en su contra.
Any questions concerning your, any legal questions that you have about your case should be directed towards your attorney.
Cualquier pregunta legal que pueda usted tener sobre su caso debe de ser dirigida hacia su abogado.
Mr. Pedro Aguilar, will you please come to the podium?
Señor Pedro Aguilar, ¿puede usted por favor pasar al podio?
Yeah. And just go back to the fact that he's not gonna be. Is there a PSA pre-trial or anything? Pásale para acá.
Sí.
Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Pedro Hernández Aguilar, y nací el 5 de junio de 1965.
Pedro Hernández Aguilar, and I was born on June 5th, 1965.
Sir, you are here today on a new case. You are charged with 1 count of attempted disorderly conduct with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of attempted threatening and intimidation, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to both charges. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on October 27th at 8:30. You will have a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, and you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest. An additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
La pregunta que tenía que hacerle es, ¿pasamos con nosotros?
Mr. Ailton Castillo Ferretes, if you'll please come to the podium.
Ailton Castillo Ferretis, si puede por favor pasar al podio.
Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Ailton Misael Castillo Ferretis, 21 abril 1998.
Ailton Misael Castillo Ferretis, April 21st, 1998.
Sir, you are here today because a direct complaint was filed. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony. The date of that alleged offense is February 16th of this year. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on November 4th at 8:30. You have a preliminary hearing on November 6th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services, which means that you will be released into the community, but your release will be supervised by pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Lo prometo.
I promise.
So you must comply with the release conditions. All that information will be provided to you in your release orders, and you must appear for your court date. If you do not comply with your release conditions or you fail to appear for your court dates, a warrant will issue for your arrest and a bond will be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about this morning. If you have no questions for me, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, can you inquire as to whether or not anybody else is in need of your services before I excuse you?
Of course, Your Honor, it will be my pleasure. Buenos días. ¿Se encuentra alguien más presente el día de hoy que requiera de los servicios del intérprete?
Okay. There's no one else who's in need of your services, Mr. Hernandez. You may be excused, and thank you so much for helping us out this morning.
My pleasure. Have a great day, Your Honor.
Thank you. Marcel Mims, will you please come to the podium? And Lucia Coffin, will you please have a seat in the chair by the door?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yeah, Marcel Mims, October 5th, 2003.
You are here today because you have a new case. You were charged with 1 count of aggravated assault resulting in temporary disfigurement, a Class 3 felony, and 1 count of robbery, a Class 4 felony. I did find probable cause as to both of those charges, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on October 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30. Because you were on felony release at the time that these alleged offenses occurred, under Arizona law, you are not eligible for bond today, so I did have to schedule an evidentiary hearing for you for October 27th at 1:30. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Well, the 27th will be my,
The evidentiary hearing to
when I
address
go into court, will I be released that day?
the evidentiary hearing on the 27th is to make a determination as to whether or not you're eligible for bond. I don't know what the decision will be after that hearing. Okay? Lucia Coffin, will you please come to the podium? And Sharice Murray, will you please have a seat in the chair by the door? And can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Lucia Coffin, 3/30/1990.
So you were here today because you have a direct complaint that was filed, and you have 4 warrants that were issued when you failed to appear for your court dates. I'm first going to go over your warrants for failing to appear. On all of your warrants for failing to appear, an attorney was already appointed to represent you in those matters. On your first one, you have a status conference hearing on October 30th at 8:30. That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,800. Your second warrant has a disposition hearing for October 30th at 8:30, and it has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,800. Your third warrant has a disposition hearing on October 30th at 8:30, and it has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,800. And your last warrant has a disposition hearing on October 30th at 8:30 with a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,800. So your total secured appearance bond between the is $7,200 secured appearance. Then on your direct complaint that was filed, you were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The date of those alleged offenses is January 21st, 2021. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a status conference hearing on October 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30. Because you were on felony release at the time that these alleged offenses occurred, you're not eligible for bond under Arizona law. So I did have to schedule an evidentiary hearing for you for October 27th at 1:30. I would caution you against attempting to postpone. It will not secure your release because you are being held not bondable on the direct complaint. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Sharice Murray, will you please come to the podium? And Ruben Ruiz, will you please have a seat in the chair by the door? So, ma'am, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Sharice Murray, April 27, 2004.
You were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of robbery, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of aggravated assault, resulting in temporary disfigurement, a Class 4 felony. I did find probable cause as to both of those charges, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on October 27th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot have any contact with your alleged co-defendant, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Ruiz, will you please come to the podium and Mr. Medina, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Good morning, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Ruben Reese, 120,000.
You are here today on a new case. You are charged with one count of theft of means of transportation, a Class 3 felony, one count of unlawful flight from law enforcement, a Class 5 felony, and one count of driving with a license that has been suspended, revoked, or canceled, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all three counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on October 27th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Medina, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Antone, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Good morning, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Eloy Medina, 12/13/76.
You are here today because you have 3 probation violation warrants. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in all 3 matters. In all 3 matters, you will have a probation revocation, possible disposition hearing on October 27th at 8:30. Your first warrant has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $200. Your second warrant also has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $200, and your last one has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. So your total secured appearance bond between the 3 cases is $650. If you are able to post bond, you must appear for your court date, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrants would again issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Dakota, will you please come to the podium? And Jacqueline Telio, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
August 22nd, 90.
What's your first name?
Dakota Anton.
Thank you. You were here today because you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You will have a probation revocation, possible disposition hearing on October 27th at 8:30. Your warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. If you are able to post bond, you must appear for your court dates, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you have no questions for me, feel please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Tello, if you'll please come to the podium, and Dante Morgan, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Good morning. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jacqueline Tello, July 2087.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of assault with intent to injure, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to both counts. Due to the nature of the charge, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing on November 4th at 2 p.m. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance today. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes.
You have the following release conditions. You are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot possess any weapons. If there are any orders of protection or orders against harassment that have been issued, you must comply with the terms of those orders. Also, you cannot reside at the same location as the alleged victim. You would be permitted 1 civil standby with local law enforcement to assist you in collecting your essential belongings. You are also advised that if you violate the no victim contact order in this case, you could be charged with aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court date will result in the loss of any bond that you post. I'm so sorry, I'm not giving you any bond. I'm so sorry. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court date could result in a warrant issuing for your arrest, and then a bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about. If you don't have any questions for me, do you have any questions?
I'm good.
Okay, you may step to your left and the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Morgan, will you please come to the podium, and Jalen Akins, will you please, or Atkins, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Hello, sir, will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Dante Morgan, August 21st, 2007.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of assault with intent to injure, or a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to that offense. Due to the nature of the charge, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing on November 18th at 1:30. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance today. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes, ma'am.
You do have the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot possess any weapons. If there are any orders of protection or orders against harassment that have been issued, you must comply with the terms of those orders. You cannot live at the same location as the alleged victim. You will be permitted one civil standby with local law enforcement to assist you in collecting your essential belongings. Failure to comply with your with the no victim contact order in this case could result in you being charged with aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. Failure to comply with release conditions or failing to appear for your court date would result in a warrant issuing for your arrest, and a bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. Do you have questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Jalen Akins, if you'll please come into the courtroom. Hello, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jalen Akins, 10/14/02.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of shoplifting by the removal of goods, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to those offenses, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a status conference hearing on November 4th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on November 6th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services, which means that I would release you back into the community, but your release would be supervised by pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes, I promise.
You do have the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime is one of the ones that I'm highlighting. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court dates would result in a warrant issuing for your arrest, and a bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to talk to you about today. If you do not have any questions for me, you may step to your left, and officer will give you your paperwork.
Quick question. You said not to return to the scene. It was at the airport. Do I not go to that specific store?
You
I
can't go back
to
into that
airport?
store.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
Scott DeMoon's date of birth, November 30th, 1991, is here on a new case. He is not physically present in court due to concerns of self-harm. Mr. DeMoon was charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, domestic violence, impeding breathing, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of aggravated assault by violating an order of protection, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of unlawful imprisonment, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of disobeying or resisting an order or mandate of the court, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of threatening or intimidating with threat of injury or property damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of disorderly conduct involving fighting, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all of the counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent him. He has a status conference hearing on October 27th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on October 29th at 8:30. I am ordering a cash bond in the amount of $50,000. The reason for the high cash bond is the court has noted that Mr. DeMuth has been arrested 3 times in the past 3 weeks for domestic related charges. the allegations. The court does note that within each case, there is an escalation of alleged domestic violence behaviors. The court is very concerned for the safety of the alleged victim. If Mr. DeMuth is able to post bond, he will be released to pretrial services on electronic monitoring. He cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. He cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. He cannot possess any weapons. I have to fix this order. He must comply with the order of protection that has been issued, and if there's an order against harassment that has been issued, he must comply with that order as well. He may not reside at the same location as the alleged victim. He will be permitted one civil standby with local law enforcement to assist him in collecting his essential belongings, and he will be cautioned that if he violates a victim contact order, that he could be charged with aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. Mr. DeMuth will be advised that if he fails to comply with his release conditions or he fails to appear for his court date, that would result in the loss of any bond that he posts. A warrant will issue for his arrest and additional bonds could be imposed. I will meet with Mr. DeMuth. If any changes are needed, I will do so either on the record or in writing. This concludes our 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar, and we stand in recess until 11 a.m.